Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishknotecha Yisrael. Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishknotecha
Destiny uncertain, yet we offer thanks for what we know, for health and healing, for labor and repose, for renewal of beauty in earth and sky, for the blend of human holy, which inspires compassion, and for hope, eternal promising light.
We light the candle together. Or actually the Jankelovitz family will light for us the candles for this Shabbat. Please turn to page 118.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik neshal Shabbat. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you to Eli and to Elisa and Mike who was behind the camera, and Jody for leading us in lighting the candles. We're on page 130 for the beginning of the section of the Tehillim of the Psalms. We start with Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Adonai. Naria, Naria, Letzu Yishenu, Nekad Mafanav Letuda. Naria, Naria, Letzu Yishenu, Nekad Mafanav Letuda. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Adonai. Come, let us sing joyously to God. Raise a shout for our rock and our deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song, for the Eternal One is great, the great ruler of all divine beings. In God's hands are the depths of the earth. The peaks of the mountains are God's. God's in the sea, God made it, and the land which God's hands fashioned. Come, let us bow down and kneel, bend the knee before God our Maker, for the Eternal One is our God, and we are the people God tends, the flock in God's care. Oh, if you would but heed God's charge this day. Hayomim b'kolo tishma'u. Page 132. If you follow in our Sidurim, and we're on page 132, if you use the online edition, please add 20 page numbers, so 152. אדוני מלך תגל הארץ, ישמחו איים רבים, ענה וערפל סביביו, צדק ומשפט מכון כיסו. אוהבי אדוני שנורא, שומר נפשות חסידיו, מיד רשעים יצילם. אור זרוע לצדיקים, ולישכי לב שמחה, שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו. O you who love God, hate evil, God guard the life of your loyal ones, saving them from the hand of the wicked. Light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. O you righteous, rejoice in the eternal and acclaim God's holy name. And we continue with Mizmor LeDavid, Psalm 29. Havu l'Adonai b'nei Elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'os, havu l'Adonai kavod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai behadrat kodesh, kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim, Adonai, Adonai, al mayim habim, kol Adonai ba'koach, kol Adonai behada, kol Adonai shover azim, vayeshaber Adonai et asya Lebanon, vayakidem kemo egel Lebanon, mesirion kemo ben rehemim, kol Adonai chotzev lehavot esh, kol Adonai yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, kol Adonai yechol le'ayalod, ma yechezov ye'arod, uvechalo kulo omer kavod, kulo omer kavod. Adonai lamabul yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yevarech et amo b'shalom. There are two wonderful parallels between Shabbat and the Pesach Seder, which we celebrated just a week ago. And this is the idea of opening the doors, of opening our houses for a divine messenger to enter. On Pesach, we ask Elijah the prophet to join us. On Shabbat, we hope that the Shekhinah, the bride, the Shabbat bride, is joining us as we celebrate together. And on page 138 we have this wonderful composition, the Lecha Dodi, which is like a little journey through the Jewish history and the hope that is combined with all the ups and downs we as a people endured. And it comes continuously with this message of rebuilding and regaining strength, as we hopefully will soon as a community also once again bring into the midst of our life, rebuilding a community of being present together, of joining together. So join us in the Lecha Dodi on page 138, 158 in the online edition. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat ner Kabbalat. Lecha Dodi likrat kala yadadai 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 pnei Shabbat ner Kabbalat. Shamo v'zacho b'dibur echad, Hishmi'anu elav miyuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shemo tiferet ve'litila. Lecha Dodi
לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה לך גדולי לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ולכה כי היא מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה זאת מעשה מחשבת תחילה לך גדולי לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי 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 שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה לך דודי לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה מועיל ושלום עטרת גבלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה ידדה לך דודי לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת קלה ידדי 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 פני שבת נקבלה. A psalm, a song for Shabbat. It is good to praise God, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, O God. I shout for your joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Eternal One! How very subtle your designs! A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this.
Page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidbaro ma'ariv aravim בחוכמה פותח שערים ובתמנה משנה עתים ומחליב את הזמנים ומסדר את הכוכבים ומשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו וביום ולילה גלו מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור ומביא יום ומביא לילה מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריב ערים
אהבת עולם בית ישראל
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים
אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, there is one God in heaven and on earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
מי כמוך באלם אדוני, מי כמוך נהנה בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ובניך בוקר ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלי, ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. Thus as it said, God redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Blessed are you, Eternal One, for redeeming Israel. Let there be love and understanding among us, and peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Eternal One, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu,
ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
We'll continue on page 162 with the Vishamru by our choir, which then will be followed by our private silent meditation, our Amidah. And I invite you all to follow from page 164 to 180 the wonderful words of our Sidurim, or online page 184 to 200 for the Amidah. If you want, use this moment also for your private thoughts and prayers. But first, our choir, which will lead us for the Vishamru.
Shabbat, נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתיים מדבר ממה. ונמכן אליי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר הכל תהיה אלוהי, אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתיים מדבר במה. ונמכן אליי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר הכל תהיה אלוהי, אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתיים מדבר במה. ונמכן אליי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר הכל תהיה אלוהי, אלוהי. פתח ליבי, ושפתיים מדבר ממה. ונמכן אליי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר הכל תהיה אלוהי, אלוהי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע, ושפתיים מדבר ממה. ונמכן אליי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר הכל תהיה אלוהי, אלוהי.
יהיו לרצון אמרתי, והגיון ליבי לפניך, אדוני,
Thank you to our choir. I think they put a lot of work, and there is one more little piece we will hear from them towards the end. It's amazing what technology is able to do, and how especially Doron is the mastermind behind everything, can put together. It's so professional. I'm really amazed, and hope you too. For today, I like to attack a topic perhaps in the past few days we haven't spoken that much about, because the coronavirus crisis is overshadowing everything what is so important to us. But yesterday, Temple Israel Hillbrow had a little online symposium about the situation of refugees. The second one for Pesach. The year before we were all there together with refugees. This time we had only the opportunity to listen to them on for videos, and we had wonderful experts talking to us. And, my topic for tonight is love your neighbor as yourself, or more specific, love the stranger. When I started adopting they and their as singular gender neutral pronouns in sermons and shiurim, a friend told me, I get why this should be done. It is the right thing to do, but it is going to be really hard for me to switch. It is not going just roll over my tongue. His words reminded me of a story about someone who was on a rabbi search committee who was inviting gay rabbis for the first time, who confide, I know I should give these men a fair shake, but it is not how I grew up. When I close my eyes and picture a rabbi with a rabbit on his side, someone with children, if I do this, I will be going against my gut feeling, and not just now, but for years. Both these people made a significant effort to adjust their own thoughts and words and what go against what felt natural to do, what was difficult and unfamiliar, because they wanted to bring forward a more just world. During the Passover season, we heard a lot about the biblical verse commanding us to love the stranger because we were strangers in the land of Egypt. These verses have been used for generations to underline our Jewish obligation to care for the oppressed and marginalized, and to advocate for refugees and immigrants. Rabbi Jonathan Sachs discusses how these verses refer not only to our actions, but to our words, thoughts, and emotions. He writes that God wants us to fight the hatred in our hearts, as our inclination at first is not to love the stranger, but to fear or hate them. Extending this metaphorical reading of these verses suggests that it is not just strange people that we need to accept despite our prejudice, but to create positive change we need to embrace unfamiliar ideas and habits of mind. For justice to proceed, we must allow in thoughts that the unfamiliar and ways of talking and acting that at first seem strange to us. The ethicist Moses Pava writes that the commandment to love the stranger challenges the very notion of static and unchanging community, because it asks us to continually broaden our notion of community, which also forces us to transcend our current conception of who we are. He observes that to love the stranger we must transgress the status quo. Since the commandment is one that we are always obliged to do, it means we cannot allow ourselves to be comfortable once we all have elevated one form of oppression, but once comfortable with our new reality. Push ourselves through uncomfortable ways yet again. Just as every year the Haggadah tells us we must see ourselves as we personally left Egypt and were personally redeemed from oppression, so every year anew we must push ourselves out of our comfort zones and try to embrace new and strange habits of mind and thoughts. We cannot rely on what was once difficult and brave for us, but it is now part of our regular internal conversation or behavior. It is not enough to have stood with the anti-apartheid protests 26 years ago if our community is not supporting the reconciliation process today. If 30 years ago we began including the matriarchs in our prayers, it may be time to stretch to something like female God language, which might make us feel uncomfortable now, as it did then. If we once championed inclusion at our places of work by having ramps and accessible washrooms, it is time to turn our eyes to create gender-neutral facilities and use of language. Loving the stranger means stretching to new and previously uncomfortable places. For the child of the stranger becomes as native born, and the strange new words that we stumble through with brave intention but slower speech flow easily off the tongues of our children. Shabbat Shalom. Chaim will lead us now in the Kiddush, which is to be found on page 122, 123, 122, 123 in the printed edition and 142 in the online edition.
ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה ורצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית. כי הוא יום תהילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. And for the coming weeks, we have something very important to observe as part of our protocol every evening, and this will be the counting of the Omer. You can find the blessing on page 570 in your Siddurim, or on top of our counting sheet, which still is available on our website for download. Today we will count the 9th day, as this sheet also says. In the evening of the day you need to count, and for Friday the 17th of April it is the 9th day. And it says, See how ready we are to count the days of the Omer. Torah teaches, count the days of Pesach during which the grain offering was brought. And on the day after the 7th week is counted, the 50th day itself shall be a festival for the new grain offering. On that 50th day our ancestors encamped before Sinai. On Shavuot, they were ready to become the free people of God's covenant. Every night we count these 50 days as fulfillment of the mitzvah from the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Hayom tisha yamim shehem shavua echad u'shnai yamim la Omer. Today is the 9th day, which is 1 week and 2 days in the Omer. Thank you. And before we continue with the Aleinu and then our short introduction to remember those who we have lost in this season in years past, I first like to invite you all also to join us tomorrow morning for our service, our Shacharit service, which will start at 9:30, with additional pieces also from our choir and a wonderful Torah reading by Shira and a Haftarah reading by Melanie. So tomorrow we will hear wonderful voices contributing to our service. Also an announcement on Tuesday. There's Yom HaShoah, a very important day of remembrance in our calendar. There will be a special way of commemorating the victims of the Shoah by the Board of Deputies, broadcasted on Facebook. The link here too has been sent to our members and will be also on our Facebook page. I promise to share the link once again so that we all can join in when we hear testimonies of victims, of survivors, but also voices from our community commemorating those who died in the Shoah, but also of those who resisted and who then rebuilt our Jewish communities worldwide after the Shoah. Havdalah, yes, Chaim reminds us, tomorrow evening at 7:45 we will have a Havdalah ceremony here broadcasted from our garden. It is a little bit later for us here in Johannesburg, so that our friends from Cape Town also can join in. This is an event for our South African community together. Please turn to page 586 for the Aleinu, our concluding section, the Aleinu, followed then by the memorial of those who have passed on.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת תגלה לעצר ראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו, וגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, ועד עתה היום השבותה, אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת לעיניו, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Page 595.
יש כוכבים שאורם מגיע הצר, רק אשר הם עצמם עבדו לנם. יש אנשים שזכרם מאיר, כאשר
These are the ways we remember and we think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn in our own hearts with our own. On this Shabbat, 17th, 18th April, Shabbat Shmini, we remember Issy Leibov, father of Myrna Margot, Dean Wald, son of Ivan Wald, Marjorie Cotton, mother of Hayden Goldman, Jeff Donninger, brother of Cyril Donninger, Aubrey Grieg, father of Marlene Licht, Barbara Novick, sister of Stephen Melamed, Martin Gordon, stepfather of Cynthia Rosen, Brian Abrams, father of Gideon Abrams. And we remember as a community Rabbi Robert Rothman, who served Beit David between 2004 and 2006. He is survived by his wife Miriam, and he was father to Jessica, Kay, and Dee. May their memories be for a blessing. Once again, I invite you all also to join tomorrow morning, but also tomorrow evening at 7:45, and then on Tuesday for Yom HaShoah, which is an important moment to remember. Thank you all for joining us. This was again a very special service, as we had for the first time these wonderful videos by the choir. Every week we will have a new surprise by them, which is so beautiful. You can see our community is still working behind the scenes to serve you in the best way forward. And if you have something to contribute, if you want to suggest something, please don't hesitate to contact me or Glynis. The numbers are published in Atkan. And also, if you like to remember someone in the memorial section of our services, please put the names into the commentary of these streams. Of course, we would love to get also some feedback from all of you, positive, negative. You are welcome to do so. Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for joining.
Shabbat Shalom.
Adon Olam Hashem Allah, B'terem kol etzim nivra, Ve'et nasa b'chetzo kol, Azai melech shemo nikra, Ve'acharei kiklot hakol, Levado yimloch nora, Ve'hu